We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
How is everyone doing? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. Just got off work. It's a pretty chill night, honestly. Only had to condition for about 10 minutes, which that honestly made my night, because that's what I was expecting. Conditioning is kind of like, most people know I'm a night stalker, so conditioning is pretty much like pulling all of the shelves, like buffing the shelves, like making them look fuller, optical illusion type stuff, and it's mind numbing. Stalking, I feel like I'm in the zone, so I don't have to think too much. I can just pop on a podcast and listen, but conditioning, man, sometimes, especially if you got shit on your mind, it can drive you nuts. We have a couple workers there that's like their main job, and it's like, I tell them all the time, man, I don't see how y'all do this shit. Like, that shit drives me nuts, man. But hope everyone had a good Christmas and stuff. New Year's is coming up, so, but that's about it as far as updates. Just been working, trying to make some money, save some money for New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day, so that way I can have a little bit of chump change to throw around. But we'll get on with the show. Alright, well, today's episode is ghost hunting for beginners. I've had plenty of ghost hunting videos. I'll leave a card at the end towards the credits so you can check out all me and Sammy's ghost hunting videos. But this is from two different professional ghost hunters. Their name is Amy Bruni and Adam Berry of Kindred Spirits. I guess that's their ghost hunting team. And honestly, I would say me and Sammy are amateurs, I wish we had the equipment. We do kind of an old school, a spiritualist method, kind of like using dowsing rods, Ouija boards, pendulums, stuff like that. We do have a spirit box, but honestly, man, it's expensive, so we give a lot of tips in our videos as far as ghost hunting when you're poor, like us, I don't know what platform you're listening on this on, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, Radio Public, Anchor. We're on all of those, but I get like a penny per listen, so yeah, I don't really make money off of this. I just do it for fun. But ghost hunting, honestly, man, it's expensive. It's expensive as hell. The other day, I remember me and Sammy, we watch ghost hunting videos and stuff, and I can't remember the team's name, otherwise I'd give them a shout out, but they're kind of like, they're a pretty popular YouTube channel, but everyone in the comment section was hating on them because they missed some evidence, and the poor guys have like literally like 10 cameras, and all this equipment, and they just happen to miss like 2 seconds of evidence, and I couldn't help but stand up for the guy because I'm like, do you realize how expensive it is to like become a ghost hunter? Like, you have to like slowly collect each piece of equipment and stuff. Um, Last episode, I'll leave a card for that. Not last episode, but the episode, couple episodes back, I did a ghost hunting equipment episode. So if you're really getting into ghost hunting, um, just stay tuned on this episode, and then I'll put a link. And honestly, you can just click on the channel, whichever website you're on, and check it out if you want. But we'll get started. Finding a location to investigate. If you're a history buff or a fan of things that go bump in the night, you probably already have a good idea of the places in your area that have myths and legends surrounding them, places where historic events occurred that might have resulted in some spirit attachment. Aside from local knowledge, the internet is a vast resource for finding historical locations and reading about possible hauntings. There are countless ghosts all over the earth. If you're looking in America, though, some spots are more likely than others to have something interesting going on. The East Coast tends to have a denser concentration of historic landmarks. This is especially true of New England. Florida and Virginia, which were the sites of the first European settlements in the 16th and 17th century. Outdoor spaces that are open to the public are good places to start your first investigations. Try parks that have history attached to them, or the sites of formerly important structures that have since been torn down and are now empty land, which makes sense because anytime you like mess with a building, like move stuff around or tear stuff down or add to it, it stirs up the ghost. Battlefields, state parks of historic significance, and cemeteries are also good places to look. Don't break any laws by trespassing or entering closed spaces at night. I'm not promoting breaking the law, but we've made videos of sneaking into places, so I can't really tell you to do it, but I can't tell you not to do it. I'm not going to judge you, you know. It may feel spookier to investigate in the dark, but spirits don't hide during the day. See, thank God that they say this, because I've always agreed with that. It makes me so mad that like people are like, "Oh, you guys are ghost hunting during the day," and it's like, yeah, because we don't have lighting equipment. So if we ghost hunt at night, you're not going to see anything, you know. Sadly, it's just a collage of pictures. We've tried it. The closest we got to filming at night was when we went to a haunted bridge, Hanks Bridge, which was like where this previous slave got hung for like basically banging like a white man slave owner's daughter. And we luckily got enough lighting to where it was a decent video. But yeah, ghosts don't hide during the day, so I don't understand why people pretend like they're like vampire bats or something, like they have ghosts don't sleep. They don't need to sleep. They have all the time in the world to just do whatever they want when they want, you know? You can communicate with them at any time, but it's easier when you have quiet, so off hours are probably your best bet. Many cities and towns have guided ghost tours that give overviews of haunted locations. Those make for excellent fact-finding excursions. When you're ready for an overnight investigation, you could start out by booking a room at a haunted hotel, or joining up with an existing investigation at a haunted location. Many old hospitals, schools, and prisons across the country have opened their doors to paranormal investigators, and many offer ghost tours for people who want to learn more. Some great places to visit are the old jail in St. Augustine. I've been there. Or not the old jail, I've been to the castle. Florida Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City, Missouri. And Preston Castle in Ione, California, which used to be a reform school for boys. What are the top signs a place is haunted? The first sign that you might be in a haunted place comes from you. If your intuition is going off, pay attention to that. Many people will get a vibe as soon as they walk into a place, instinctively sensing that a spirit is there. You don't have to be a psychic or a medium to sense energy. If your senses are tingling, trust them. It's also a common place for pets to sense things and sit in or stare at strange spots. So honestly, if it's like an outdoor thing and you can bring a pet, that they're like pretty much ghost detectors, man. So plus you're chilling with your pet, bonding time. Another sign of a haunting is if objects move on their own. If a painting keeps falling off the wall and there's no good explanation why, then there's probably an entity in that space. In this instance, a good explanation is a physical one, like the painting isn't hung securely, or there's a strong crosswind or footsteps from above that are jostling it. You might also hear or smell strange things, getting a weird smell of cigars in your living room all of a sudden. There may be a ghost around who loved a snifter of brandy and an after-dinner smoke. If the electronics in your house behave strangely, that's also a sign. In places with heightened paranormal activity, technology can sometimes be affected. Batteries that you've just replaced can go totally dead. We've actually had that happen a couple times ghost hunting, so I definitely believe that one. They drain energy. Strange interference on your phone or radio means that you might be catching EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, through those frequencies. Hands-on historical research. If you are naturally inclined towards history and enjoying learning about the past through books or documents, the next step you can take is to visit historical landmarks and go on guided tours from people who have made a career out of having in-depth knowledge. Local libraries generally have a good selection of books and video resources about local history as well. If you're looking for events that may have caused a haunting, local newspaper archives are excellent resources, but it's no longer necessary to make a dedicated trip to the library and strain your eyes looking through microfiche. To look through old newspapers, the internet has vast archives of now defunct newspapers, such as Los Angeles Herald-Express, where you can find old stories of crimes and deaths from across the country. A subscription to the New York Times includes access to their online archive, which dates back to 1851, and includes extensive national news. There is, however, no better way to expand your research than by connecting with a local historical society. Not only can you utilize the resources it has already collected, but you can also tap into the knowledge of the people who work there. These folks might even be able to introduce you to the living people with connections to a place you're interested in. This is especially helpful when you are investigating a private home rather than a public space. You can trace family histories, examine deeds and ownership records, and broaden your search to a surrounding area to see if anything notable or strange happened nearby. Practically every county, if not nearly every town, has some form of historical society, and you're likely to encounter someone there who also loves a good ghost story and is willing to help. There's a certain kind of person who is twice as likely to pay attention to something if it's a ghost story. So it only stands to reason that Those ghost stories include information about the history and the people who lived it. Whoever is listening is going to pick up a fair amount of that info. For kids who aren't as excited to take a road trip to a historic battlefield as they would be to go to a theme park, a ghost story is a parent's secret weapon. Yeah, that's true, man. We used to take Stella, my kid, to like go ghost hunting and stuff with us because like that's just something we liked to do, and she loved it. We used to sneak into abandoned houses and everything else with her. It was awesome. And you'd be surprised, like, at first we were like, do you think this will scare her? And, you'd be surprised, like, to them it's like Scooby-Doo. And in some haunted history, and all of a sudden what's boring is now an exciting trip into the unknown. When I was young, Amy Bruni says, my dad used to take me to old military forts and historic locations in Northern California to do ghost hunts. All we had was a tape recorder and a flashlight. It made me so interested in learning more about not just the paranormal aspects of these places, but their history too. Many people who have made careers out of ghost hunting grew up going to spooky old locations, pursuing hidden truths. Curiosity is a great quality to have as a paranormal investigator. It helps you connect to the place you live, learn about how people used to live there, and carry that knowledge into the future. How do you get in to a famously haunted spot? Locations that have notorious hauntings and legends around them tend to either fully embrace their spooky past or ignore it completely. You won't have a hard time determining which is which if you look at the way those places describe themselves. Some quick research online will likely reveal how they feel about their reputation. Many well-known haunted hotels such as the Queen Mary Ocean Liner, which that one's a famous one. I would like to cover that on an episode. Yeah, that would be dope. I've heard a lot about Queen Mary. Docked in Long Beach, California. Actually, I first came across it through Omar Gosh channel, so shout out to him. I don't know if you all have ever heard of him. He actually lives in my old stomping ground down in Florida. The Omni Mount Washington Hotel in New Hampshire's White Mountains, and the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. That's another episode I want to do a Conspiracy Corner podcast on, is the Stanley Hotel. That's where they filmed The Shining at. Rent out their most active rooms at premium prices. Other places, such as the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast in Fall River, Massachusetts. I actually did a podcast episode on that, so I'll try to leave a link or a card at the end so you can check it out. And the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, which I live in Kentucky. Sorry I keep it backtracking, but I live in Kentucky, man, and that's another one I want to do an episode on because I hear so much about it. Offer guided investigations, sometimes overnight. For locations that don't promote their haunted history, gaining access can be a little tricky, but not impossible. If you're part of a paranormal investigation group that has a good reputation and a track record of solid investigations, you may be able to reach out directly to a place and work out a time to visit and explore. Just don't, under any circumstances, trespass to gain illegal and quite possibly dangerous access to a location. I'm not going to repeat myself on that. You guys do what you want. Just remember, though, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Finding fellow investigators. Searching for ghosts on your own is not nearly as fun or productive or safe. as working with a group of like-minded investigators. Not only can you share equipment and spread out the labor of research and preparation, you can also share ideas, learn from each other, and perform experiments that require more than one person. You're also likely to get better results if you have other people with you. Group intention is one of the strongest attractors of paranormal activity. Paranormal conventions often happen in famously haunted locations such as the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California, which used to be a transatlantic luxury ocean liner and is now a permanently docked floating hotel. Because of its history, including being conscripted into service during World War II, when it was involved in a terrible accident that resulted in hundreds of deaths, this ship has a lot of legends and hauntings attached to it. At conventions, paranormal enthusiasts gather together to hear lectures from famous ghost hunters and occult experts, and then they team up to investigate locations that regular guests don't always have access to. Those events are great ways to meet like-minded people and foster relationships with them. I do have to say though, like me and Sammy, it's just me and her. We've brought one other person to a ghost hunt with us, which was pretty cool. I think she was camera shy, so sadly we couldn't really get into it too deep, and it was just kind of a roadside spirit box session. But yeah, I mean, you only need, well, you can do it solo. If anything, it's going to creep you out more. It's scarier by yourself. I have, if you guys keep up with my channel on YouTube, I'm an occult item collector. I don't use my occult items alone for the most part, unless it's something like tarot cards or dowsing rods. But yeah, I don't fuck with shit alone. I get creeped out. I always have my wife, you know. The more the merrier, because you're all going to be able to scream together. Make you feel more safer, you know. Plus, if you are in a sketchy area, like an abandoned house or something, like one crazy hobo can't fuck up a team of investigators who have like 5 or 6 people. You see what I'm saying? Strength in numbers, you know. On a local level, there are thousands of paranormal investigation groups scattered throughout the world. One of the best resources for finding a team near you is through the Atlantic Paranormal Society, TAPS, which was started in Rhode Island from the team of the original Ghost Hunters. I love Ghost Hunters, man. Man, Ghost Hunters too, I always felt like they were legit because, like, there would be episodes that were boring, you know? And I'm not trying to, like, shit on any other teams, but, like, Ghost Adventures, I feel like there's something happening every 5 seconds. Every place is haunted. Ghost Hunters, man, I've heard people complain, like, oh, I don't like them. Some of their episodes are boring. Like, half their episodes, they don't catch anything or they're boring. And I'm like, well, that's actually why I like watching them. Because that's how you know they're not faking stuff. They're real, you know? Same with my YouTube channel. Like, we go ghost hunting for fun. We do it for me and Sammy. We just record it, for one, for evidence. 2, just to show you guys how ghost hunting actually is. And we've caught stuff. We've caught orbs. We've caught EVPs. We've caught stuff. But most of it's boring. And the thing is like, at least you know we're not lying to you. It's real. I mean, if we lied to you, I would be rich right now, and this would be my main job. I mean, do you think I want to be stocking shelves in third shift? No, I'd rather be faking ghost hunting videos, but it's like, I got something called like dignity and pride, you know, and I believe in the paranormal, and why would I hoax and ruin my reputation and ruin the fun of it and ruin the truth behind it, because there is truth behind it. You know what I'm saying? But Sorry about that little rant, but that's why I like Ghost Hunters. The original Ghost Hunters show followed as they investigated cases across the country. They formed the network TAPS family in response to a surge of people calling and asking for help with hauntings in their homes. There are affiliate teams in the US states and in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, India, Costa Rica, and throughout Europe. Meeting up with a group like that is a surefire way to find a fellow paranormal enthusiast and start your journey to the spooky side. Websites like meetup.com have lots of paranormal groups. There's also a National Ghost Hunting Day that happens every year on the last Saturday in September, with the goal of holding the world's largest paranormal investigation. You can find groups and teams to connect with through that event's websites. For many American states, there are also quote-unquote haunted websites dedicated to documenting haunted history. These often have a database of that state's paranormal investigation groups. The downside of group intention. So now we get into the negative. Just like positive group intention can result in positive paranormal experiences, negative group intention can result in strongly negative ones. In the short term, a group of people who walk into a place feeling terrified or who are trying to provoke negative reactions will attract that kind of energy. All you have to do is search the internet for videos of people trying to summon the devil in haunted locations or communicate directly with demons to see how badly that kind of tomfoolery can go wrong. In the longer term, people can manifest negative entities. If thousands of people over a span of years enter a place assuming they will encounter a negative spirit, eventually they will attract negative spirits to that place. In some cases, they can even create a malevolent entity in that place, which is called a tulpa. When anyone can create a tulpa, our brains are like quantum computers. There's actually many tests done, like the Philip experiment. I'll do an episode on that, definitely, because I've been wanting to do a tulpa episode, because it's mind-blowing that they basically, to sum it up shortly, like a bunch of people were like, hey, I wonder if we could create a ghost. And they ended up creating a ghost in a hotel. And from that day forth, this ghost, by the way, never existed. They just invented it. And used their energy and basically summoned something that didn't exist. And from that day forth, that hotel was haunted. And all the people staying in that particular room or whatever, and I'm probably butchering it, but I'll do it right and make a full episode one day. Anyways, they would report to the front desk like, my room's haunted as fuck by this ghost. And it never even existed. It wasn't even a real ghost, but it was a tulpa. You can create an entity with your energy. It's insane. Alright. An entity that is manifested by the energy and intention of people over a period of time is called an egregore, which I just call it tulpa. One on the simplest level, an egregore is a collection of energy. These form when every person who enters a space leaves a little bit of their own energy behind. And they aren't always negative. Churches often feel like happy and uplifting places because so many parishioners over years and years have filled those buildings with positive intentions, hope, and love. When people go into a place like an old prison, they often walk in scared, expecting to find terrible things. That negative intention eventually starts to coalesce into an energetic being. If it grows strong enough, it will form its own consciousness. That's an egregore. It's a ghost we've created through our own fear. The only way to remove it is with a massive blast of positivity. That's what happened at Belvoir Winery and Inn in Liberty, Missouri. A large number of people who had positive interactions with the place all got together to infuse the building with happiness and light. That was the only thing that could remove the negative energy in that place. But if people continue to go there with negative intentions and energies, that egregore could easily come back. The same type of thing happened on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. The permanently docked ship has become a huge attraction for people who love ghost stories and paranormal researchers alike. The ship even hosts ghost tours that give visitors a glimpse into its grim past. All of that energy has formed an unfriendly presence that communicates with people in dark and sometimes frightening ways. That's why it's so important to recognize the power of intention and monitor your own energy in an investigation. Can you take a ghost home with you? Yes, you can. It's a casualty of the job, Adam Berry says. If they're intelligent and they can go where they want, what's to say they can't come with you? But don't panic just yet. It happens only in the very rarest of instances, and the odds are deeply against it. Remember, the vast majority of spirits are just normal people who aren't trying to scare you. If you're concerned that something has followed you out of an investigation, talk to that spirit the exact same way you would talk to a living person. Set firm boundaries and explain that you can't have anyone or anything following you home. That ghost will almost definitely respect what you're saying and leave you alone. If a ghost does come home with you, have the same conversation there. It's your home, not theirs, and they are not welcome to stay. Remember the power of intention. The more fear and negativity you infuse into the situation, the more negativity the situation will affect you. Positive attitude and good energy are everything.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.